with another video, and before I even start, it's like I shouldn't even be up right now. On top of that, um, you guys already know, for those who have watched this, look, you guys know who this character is already. If you don't, just leave this video right now, or just read the title of the video. It's going to be, what if Asta was Samurai Jack, or something along those lines. But before we even get into that, I'm going to say a couple things. Number one, I have a Discord where you guys can actually request ideas. Like, you guys can just talk and, like, dang it, man. And what do you call it? And just suggest what if ideas for me and like others to do, because, well, I'm honestly getting tired of the DMs, and that's kind of why I'm not responding as much anymore. And number two, well, I'm no longer working for We the Celestials, at least right now, so I'll probably have some more scripted videos as well. Now, on to the video, and this is going to be the 500 subscriber special. I'm really hoping this video does well, because I also want to get into some Black Clover what ifs. And even if it doesn't go well on this channel, I'm going to still try and do it on the group channels or whatever. So yeah, let's get into the video. So, what if Asta was Samurai Jack? Now, I know what you guys are wondering. Okay, Titan, is this going to be another reincarnation? What if, just like, what if Deku was a reincarnation of Kaido? And the answer to that is yes. Sort of. Because, for those who already know the background of, or like the backstory, like the whole history of Samurai Jack, you know that Aku was basically the seemingly all-powerful demon of the sorts. I say demon, but I think there's another word for it, honestly. Or like an Oni or something. But basically, and Jack was at his final slash, really, until Aku literally just was like, okay, before this guy ends up ending my life, I'm going to send this guy to the future. That's precisely what he did. He literally just created a portal and sent Jack to the future. I don't even think Jack is his real name, honestly. But yeah. That's not happening in this timeline. Instead, I'm going to say that Aku ended up sending Jack to another dimension, essentially, where Jack basically wakes up in a baby's body. Like, once he realizes this, he's like, okay, what did this guy do now? And of course he's frustrated, because now he's in a baby's body. He walks around, looks in the mirror, and sees that he has like this gray, or like, according to like some wikis or some sorts, some ash blonde hair. You see that he has like some ash blonde hair. It's kind of spiky. Not only that, but he also has green eyes for whatever reason. And he's a chunky baby too. He's wondering, what have I gotten myself into? What has Aku done to me now? And now he's wondering, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to get back to my world, essentially, my realm, in order to land the final strike on Aku and basically end him for good, honestly. But Jack realizes that it's going to be a long wait before he'll be able to seemingly get back to the past and his dimension, honestly, because past doesn't work here. What ends up happening is that Jack still retains his skills. He retains all of his memories, so all of that swordsmanship. Yeah, Jack still has that. It's only that he can't really use most of his abilities right now because of the fact that he's in a baby's body and he needs to redevelop his skills, honestly. At least, like, for his body, honestly. He needs to wait for it to grow. So that's what he ends up doing. He is rather impatient, but he tries to basically conjure up as much of his known abilities as fast as possible. It gets to the point where he is able to even walk from an early age, and the priest, when he sees this, he's just looking at Jack like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, Asta, he's walking already. It brings tears to my eyes. Oh, basically all that, and of course he still has like all that enhanced strength even in like a baby's body because, well, Asta literally kicked the priest when he was a baby and sent this man flying through a wall, my G. Honestly, it gets pretty interesting because, well, Asta is not weak at all, but with Jack's mentality, that just raises his capabilities even higher to the point where when he's first able to wield something remotely similar to a sword or a katana, he's just going mad with it. He's like, okay, okay. He gets to actually practice with these sticks for a good amount of time. Like, when he ends up finding out that he doesn't have any magic, he just shrugs it off like, I really don't care. Because he already has an insane amount of strength. He can jump really good. He has pretty high intelligence, honestly. And everything is just a W for for Jack, really. Every, like, in the grand scheme of things, sure, magic would be pretty useful to have, but he doesn't necessarily need it. It's not like it's going to really change anything for him. Over the years, he would start to learn more and more about the world that he's in, and realize just how important magic is to everybody. Even when he even when he develops, he's like, okay, magic is pretty interesting, but I can probably take down a good amount of these people with probably a stick in my hand, honestly. The years would go by. Um, the whole thing with that drunk guy, it goes way different than in canon because as soon as the drunk man tries to steal Yuno's necklace, Jack actually gets in the way and punches this guy in the stomach and actually uses like a stray stick, honestly, in order to hit the man numerous times until the guy basically falls unconscious. Really, he has no mercy in this timeline. And look, this is just going to be a very fun with it for me. This is getting creepy. These eyes are getting creepy. Hold on. But yeah, where was I? Yeah. Um, and Jack just is not taking anything here. Like, this guy basically trying to steal from basically somebody that he considered to be his friend at this point, because over the years they actually got to really know each other. They seemingly knew each other since they were little babies, honestly, or at least in Yuno's perspective, anyways. Jack is still pretty aware of everything that's going on right now. I'm going to say that throughout the time skip, he does something similar to Asta's training in order to get buff. But another thing happens. He uses all of his own training as well in order to really train this body on the skills that he had already established in his mind. So it's mainly just getting like the hand-eye coordinate and like motor skills essentially. He's just kicking this body into overdrive at this point. When it comes on to actually wielding a sword, he still does not have a sword here, which irritates Jack quite a bit. That's the main gripe he has, because he still has no access to a sword. He doesn't know where he can get a sword from, honestly. He's living in what's is seemingly nowhere, really. And yeah, he has plenty of time to really get adjusted to the situation he's in. And some of some of the orphans actually make fun of Jack for being monolith, having absolutely no magic. Even is like, yeah, you do seem kind of weak. But, well, Jack shows off by literally defeating in a couple of seconds flat with a stick. And I don't care even if is probably stronger well than than Jack. Jack in Asta's body would be a beast, really, no matter what you say. Look, by the time they reach 14, I believe, 14, yeah, I think, yeah, basically when they become teenagers, that is when it is time for them to go get their grimoires. Of course, Jack isn't really expecting to get a grimoire, and of course, he doesn't. The people see this and they still make fun of Asta, like in canon. Well, I say Asta, but this is Jack in Asta's body. You guys get the point. But basically, what ends up happening is that they make fun of Asta, but when it comes on to they are amazed at the fact that someone who is seemingly just a commoner was able to get their hands on the four-leaf clover, on a four-leaf clover grimoire, and they only see that as something like nobles would have. And even then, when it comes on to nobles, that's an extreme rarity. So to see a commoner with a four-leaf grimoire, it's practically unheard of, really. Everybody's just like, ooh. Of course, nobles are jealous because, well, literally took away their spotlight. And of course, they want revenge. The same thing as in canon happens with the chainmail mage, who tries to basically steal Yuno's grimoire, but unfortunately for the the mage here, well, your boy Jack is here, and he's not about to let that happen. So what he ends up doing is that he tries to fight the chainmail mage. I don't care what his name is, honestly. I never really liked that guy to begin with. He has no redeeming qualities at all. I mean, his magic is not even that cool either. But well, this is when things get tricky. This is the reason why I say tricky is because of the fact that he has this chain magic, which I'm going to say that Jack is just not as used to, and he actually gets entangled in this magic. Yes, plot convenience, wait, plot convenience, baby. He's actually struggling to really, you know, break free of these chains, and this chain magic user just laughs in Asta's face, saying that, oh, you see, you are incredibly weak. You have no mana at all. What do you think you are going to be able to do? And of course, your boy Jack is struggling. He grits his teeth and looks at Yuno, who is just in defeat at this point. He calls out for Yuno to not give up and that he is strong as well. And this is when I'm going to say that he actually unlocks the 5-leaf grimoire. Of course, nobody really knows about the 5-leaf grimoire. I mean, especially not your boy Jack, because how could he, honestly? What ends up happening is that when he sees this blackish sort of grimoire appear right in front of his eyes, and he sees like a giant sword being pulled out of there somehow, he actually tries to stretch out his hands and grab onto it. It actually works. That's the most surprising part of it. And he's actually able to break free of this mage's magic. And he immediately rushes in on the mage and just hits him with the blunt side of the sword, which immediately knocks out the mage. Now, why I say that immediately knocks him out is because they were already weak in canon, and how should I say this? Jack is like way more experienced in using weapons well, than Asta will probably ever be. I mean, this guy basically had to adapt adapt from when he was a baby, to be honest. He literally spent his whole life training in order to take down a demon, or like a ruler of darkness or something along those lines. Come on, give my man some props. So I don't see it being that unrealistic for him to be able to defeat the chain magic user and just a snap, really. What ends up happening though is that Yuno is of course impressed, and these two actually train together for like the next couple of months, waiting for their time to be able to enroll in the Magic Night exam. so that they could actually have potential in making it up the ranks and all of that, becoming Magic Knights and be able to well, you know, feed the family, feed their feed their foster family essentially. These people have basically been the ones to raise them, and they're like, okay, we're going to try and become Magic Knights in order to really give back to the people who raised us, the people who really accepted us for us. We just have like that whole occasion of them, well, we just have the whole occasion of them, well, fighting, I guess. Yeah, you could say sparring, honestly. Of course, would be even stronger than in canon here because of Jack's extra push here. He wants to be able to really be on the same ground with Asta, but Asta is just a bit more built different here, thanks to Jack's influence. Look, you guys should know what I mean. But yeah, I'm going to say that we have another time skip, and that's when the Magic Knight exams begin. Of course, the same interactions go similar to in canon, where the guy's wondering if Asta's grimoire is really a grimoire. Jack, of course, says that yeah, it is a grimoire. Just dirty it up, honestly. The birds still arrive like in canon, yada yada yada. And well, this is when things get interesting. When he bumps into Yami, the first thing he notices is his katana actually, instead of his intimidating appearance. Even when Yami tries to actually grab Asta's head and squeeze it, and the very first thing that Jack actually points out is the fact that Yami has a katana, which immediately causes Yami to stop and is like, yeah, what about it? And these two just get into a discussion about swords after that. And of course, Yami likes this guy. Yeah, Yami actually really is interested in Jack, especially with how he seems to know about swords, and he has a pretty interesting physique as well. He hasn't met that many people who aren't necessarily intimidated by him from first appearances and also know about swords as well. So he's just keeping his eye on Asta for the time being. Well, when it comes on to the rest of the exams, it goes pretty similar to in canon. It's just that, well, Jack is just able to perform better than Asta here. I would say that when it comes on to like the whole broom thing, um, he's still not able to do that well. Probably at best is able to do something like one of those characters from Dragon Ball, Mercenary Town. That was his name, where he's just able to throw some wood up in the air and then hop on it and basically turn it into his ride from there on. That's basically what I'm going to say. That's exactly that's exactly what Jack ends up doing here when it comes on to most of the events. So they stay pretty similar to in canon. The whole thing with that bronze magic user, Teke, I really forgot this guy's name. I don't like him either. Don't bother telling me what his name is in the comments below because I'm not going to remember his name. This guy was. I never really liked this character, even though I can relate. Basically, he just completely wrecks him. Even worse than Canon, he just jabs. He doesn't use anything besides just jabbing the sword through the bronze magic. And that's really all it takes, one jab, and the whole creation just shatters. Of course, the guy is terrified seeing this, and immediately and Jack just face palms and is like, yeah, you have no honor. When it comes down to the whole, what do you call it? To the whole voting process, we're going to say that some more teams are interested in Asta this time around simply for the fact that he seems to be kind of strong here. They remember seeing broom that broom thing. He seems to have good agility. He seems to be able to jump good. He seems to be pretty strong, and he has some sort of sword magic, and that's interesting. We still don't know much about him, so that's why I say only a few other teams in canon actually raise their hands up for Asta. So I would say something like the Cranes and hmm. Oh yeah, and like the Lions, yeah. Like with what we're going on. Basically, the Vermilions also raise their hand. That's pretty much it, really. Because I don't see any other team would be willing to really raise their hand for Asta. But Asta looks over to Yami, who actually raises his hand up. Of course, the same thing in canon, well, something sort of similar to in canon happens where Yami actually gets down from the booth and tries to intimidate Asta, asking him why does he even want to be a black, well, no, not Black Bull, but why does he want to be a magic knight? What makes him think that he is worthy of becoming a magic knight and all of that? He's trying to see just how far Asta is willing to go to be a magic knight. But Yami is pleasantly surprised when Jack does not actually step back. He's not intimidated. He's not intimidated at all by Yami and actually stands his ground. That's when pleasantly surprises him, and he's actually able to hold the conversation going for a while to the point where Yami actually laughs, impressed by his guts, and is like, you know what? How about this? Would you like to become a black bull? And I'm going to say that Jack accepts because number one, plot. Number two, he doesn't know that, well, the Black Bulls are the worst team ever, at least at the time, anyways. So he's thinking, okay, this guy knows his stuff about swords, so we already have a good connection going on. So he thinks that he could actually learn something from this guy or actually sharpen his skills. He could actually sharpen his skills against Yami. So whenever he is able to return back to the past, he will be able to, well, you know, defeat our crew in one final strike. But yeah, that's how I'm going to end the what if for right now. I really don't care what you guys have to say. I'm going to have this be something on it. If this gets like less than 100 views, I probably will just upload it to the other channel. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Kintai next out.